I recently bought a load of tools and accessories on Temu, and other than one of them, I was actually pretty impressed. So I've bought 10 more items to see if these are any good and whether you can actually get some decent stuff off of Temu. Some of this stuff is things that I needed, and then other bits are stuff that I came across whilst browsing and I thought I'd try to see if they're any good. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video where I'll be talking a little bit about what I really think about buying tools off of Temu. First thing that I bought is this sanding block. This is something that I'd seen a similar one of on another YouTube video, and when I spotted this on Temu I thought I'd give it a try because it, to me, seems like a good idea. I've checked, and on Amazon these are priced at about £7, and I found this one for £3.14. To be honest, there's not exactly a lot to this. It's just a hard foam block that you can use round sanding discs on that velcro to the sides, and then it's got hand and finger holes, and then you can just use it as a sanding block. I recently upgraded from a 5 to a 6-inch sander, so this is going to be very handy as it fits the 5-inch discs that would otherwise have just gone to waste. I've used this a few times and it does exactly what you'd expect it to, so this one is another success. The next thing is something that I've needed for a while, which is a vac adapter hose. I've been having to tape my vac hose to certain tools because they haven't come with adapters and they just don't fit the size of this vac hose, as you can see from the tape remnants that's left on there. So when I saw this on Temu, I thought I'm gonna have to get it. This cost me £2.15, and again, there's really not much to it. It's just a rigid plastic hose that has different steps for different size vacuum hoses. Slightly annoyingly, I didn't actually read the dimensions on the listing, which is my fault, and it doesn't actually fit my vacuum hose. But thankfully, I've got another adapter that came, I think, with the track saw. That means I can put it onto the vac hose and then it fits properly. That's my own stupid fault though for just not checking that it fit before buying it. Thankfully though, with that adapter it's perfectly usable. So far I've used this with a range of different tools and it's worked absolutely perfectly. So again, another that you can't really complain about, another success. This one was the cheapest item that I bought at only £1.19, and it is this square. At this sort of price for a square, to be honest, I wasn't exactly expecting much, but I'm actually pleasantly surprised with this one. It's made of an aluminium alloy and it's solid, seems actually pretty well made, and with the use that I've used it for so far, seems as accurate as it could be for what you need it for. So again, for £1.19, I really can't complain. For this price, this is just an absolute ridiculous bargain as well, and an item like this is actually a pretty handy thing for if you need to get your minimum order spend up. You can add a little item like this for £1.19 and it means you can get to the minimum order amount. But yeah, this just stays hung on the workshop wall, and if I need a quick square, just grab it and use it. I'm going to do the next two items together because they're pretty similar in usage. I got 5 of these glue spreaders for £1.68 and 30 of these small brushes for only £1.18. I've also just realised that I lied on the square saying that was the cheapest, but these were actually 1p cheaper. Close enough though. I've used the glue spreaders on a few projects now, and to be honest, you can't really go wrong with them. Spread glue fine, and I've let glue dry on them and it just peels straight off. Now I checked on Amazon and you can actually pick these up for £1.50, so for once these are actually more expensive than getting them on Amazon. I've been meaning to get some glue spreaders for ages though, so when I was putting together this Temu order and these came up, I just added them to the order. The one downside of these is you definitely feel like a 5-year-old when you're using them. These small brushes I use all the time for getting into small gaps when painting. I've used them for spreading glue and loads of other uses. Small brushes like this are so handy to have, so I just keep them in a drawer in the workshop. I've actually been a little bit surprised that the bristles. I've actually been a little bit surprised that for such cheap brushes, the bristles don't come out when you're using them, but so far on everything I've used, I've not had any issues with the bristles coming out. Let's be honest, at less than 4p each, you really can't go wrong, can you? Next up, we have these painting or finish stands. I've used these whilst spraying the lamps that I upcycled, for staining wood and for oiling wood. Let's be honest, they're a pretty simple item, aren't they? And I just stack them all together and then leave them in the drawer in the workshop ready for use. They've got these little tabs on the side so you can either stick them or screw them down to your workpiece if you need to. And for only £1.45, they're an absolute bargain and much better value than the exact same item on Amazon, which costs about 4 times as much. I got this grinder disc mainly out of curiosity because I'd seen people using the proper Kutzall discs on YouTube. When I saw this, I thought, may as well get it, try it and see if it's any good. I've used this a couple of times, mainly for removing the bark on a live edge slab. And to be honest, it did a pretty good job. It does leave a pretty rough finish, so if you were going to use these for some proper wood carving, you're going to need a fair bit of sanding to get a decent finish. But as something for removing a lot of material quickly and easily, I'd say these are definitely one of them handy things to have on hand for when you need it. I might have to try a proper wood carving project with one of these just to see how they actually hold up. I bought these countersink drill bits for £3.14 in a pack of 5 with different size drill bits. I'm sure, like probably most people, I'm a little bit lazy, so when I pre-drill a hole in something, I can't then be bothered to swap over to another drill bit just to countersink it. So these are obviously handy because you can pre-drill your hole and get your countersink all without having to swap between drill bits. So a win for us lazy people. There is one part that annoys me though, and that is this part here. Because it opens up the hole that you've drilled before actually hitting the countersink part. Basically, you'll pre-drill your hole with the normal drill bit, and then before you reach the countersink bit, this part removes extra material like that for no apparent reason, until you then get to the countersink part. Not the end of the world, just a little bit annoying, and I can't really see a reason why you'd have to remove that extra material. I've linked some similar ones in the description that basically don't have this extra piece on it. It's just the drill bit for pre-drilling your hole and then the countersink. So if you are interested in buying some countersink bits, get the ones in the description rather than these ones, because that extra piece is just a little bit annoying and I really can't see that there's any purpose for it. And then last but not least, I have bought these safety specs. I've got quite a few pairs of different safety specs, including these tinted ones, which are pretty handy in the summer. I got these ones for a couple of reasons. They've got the extra side shields to prevent things going in your eyes from the side, which has actually been an issue with some of these. Even though they wrap round, I still get some bits coming in through the side. And also, I think they look a little bit nicer than these ones. And wearing them, I don't feel like a dad on a skiing holiday. Now unfortunately this pair has actually been discontinued. Now it doesn't actually say why, but I would have bought another pair of these, so I'll have to look elsewhere for some in future. So that is all of the stuff that I've bought, and as last time, I would say it's been another pretty good success. Now I just want to quickly talk a little bit more about buying tools and accessories from Temu. If you're going to be buying stuff like power tools, to be honest with you, I wouldn't really expect too much. With stuff like that, you really do get what you pay for. But if you're looking to buy cheaper items, like the ones that I've bought, to be honest, you can't really go wrong. It's great for the sort of little items that you would buy off of Amazon or eBay, but for anything bigger or something that could potentially be dangerous, like a power tool, I would definitely stick to the brands that you've heard of. That being said, I still might buy some just to test them out, so you don't have to. I quite often buy cheap stuff off of Amazon and eBay, and to be honest, most of these items are probably made in the exact same factory, so what you're actually doing is just saving money by buying directly from the source. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, it really does help it grow, and I'll see you in the next one.